What I've been working on is mostly images, because before I had an add person dialogue, which you saw in the last couple of movies. I rewrote that. How about if we start with George Heaton Jr. He's person ID number 1, and there's your gender right there. If you point at it, the ID changes to gender. Let's add him some pictures. Why don't we? So we're going to go over to Preferences, Media. Now, there are no images in this tree. Now, a nice thing about this, you can add as many as you want, and you can resize them. You can go to any directory on your computer to get your pictures. But the purpose of this, it says where, this where tab in the preferences, this entry here says default directory for image source. Go open and file explorer. In other words, where you want to go look first, so you don't have to click it many times. You're going to open this up to, there's my folder about inventors. George Heaton is an inventor. There's the folder. That's the one I want to use. Select folder, okay? Go over here. There you go. This will select files. I'm going to add images to the tree, and we can add more later. So, which one is the right size? It doesn't matter, because I can resize them, and it's super easy to do. Treebard take care of that. Here's the situation. If I click here, it opens up the Add Person dialog. In the Add Person dialog, you can add all kinds of images. You can add several images at a time. If you do it here, you can't add but one. We're going to put them in one at a time, because here we have a place for one caption. All right, and in this exact place you can't resize them, but it's easy to do over here. You press Alt plus G, go over to the graphics. Add another one, the same person. George in the Navy. Let's put this one in there. We'll make this the main picture. George Heaton, about 1968. Well, there's Uncle George. Okay. George Heaton Navy portrait. All right, well, you get the idea. That's how you add to the tree. Go ahead and link those to George himself. Let's make this the main picture. So we're going to do that first, because if that goes in first, it'll be main by default. We won't have to change it later on. Link to current element. And that current element is male George Lafayette Heaton Jr., the current person. There we go. There it is. That's the main picture. That's why it shows up on this button. This button, if you click it, it opens up the, you see that's too big. I mean, if it was a census or something hard to read, but here we don't really actually need to count his nose hairs at this time. So George Heaton about 1960, that works pretty good. Okay, so here's what I want to do, edit. I want to get a smaller version. Copy resize. We're going to resize that to, it's this wide. I want it to be like, not that wide. That's very wide. So what if I was to make that about 20%? Make it a lot smaller. That's a good resolution scan. I'm not getting rid of it. I'm just making a copy of it. This is a file name. So George L. Heaton Jr. 20%. This is a big file, so it takes a while. We go here. See the little one that I just made is right here. It's now 476 by 596. Okay, so we're going to link that to George right here, like that. All right, now we've got two. They look identical, but they're not. This is the, see, it's not checked. This is the main. You got to check the one that you want to be main. I'm going to make this one main. Now this little one is main. What you want to do right now, okay, we're going to select the big one. And we're going to say delete from tree, because I don't need it. It's not being deleted from the computer, and the original is not being touched. But it is deleting the copy from the tree, and it's deleting the copy from the computer. But the original that we originally used, not being touched. And now we just got the one. Okay, let's proceed. It's easier if you add the pictures at the same time that you add the person, because at that time you can put in multiple pictures all at once, and you can tell each one what size to be. These are the pictures that are in the tree. We're going to link that to the current element, which is George, current person. Okay. There it is. And also you can use the buttons like this. Or you can use the arrow key. That's the right arrow, that's the left arrow. Now we're going to add other sailor pictures. Link to current element. Okay, let's do the other sailor picture real quick. That's this one. Okay, link to current element. All right, that's pretty fast, isn't it? All right, now some of these are going to be really big, so we can resize them. Now, I don't need to have something that big here. It's just genealogy, right? What about the other one? Okay, there's both pictures. They're both big, so we're going to resize them both. So the way to resize them is this. First, you make it the current picture by clicking it here. Then you go edit. Then it opens. See, we're on graphics tab now. There's no scrolling or panning. We just get an indication that we got the right picture. We're in the graphics tab here. We're going to resize it. And let's see how big is it. It's about like the last one. Let's make it 20% again. That worked pretty good last time. New image size 20 for 20%. Image file name, so it's going to be George Heaton, Sailor 1. We'll say 01 in case we find 99 more pictures like this. Well, let's just say 20%. Takes a while because it's a really big file. Let's do the other one. So we're going to go back to the, make that current. All right, so we're back on graphics tab, so there's no scrolling or panning here. This is not the working canvas. We have this as a current photo, the current image, so we're going to resize it. There it is. See, this one scrolls. All right, so if you wanted to crop, you crop it, not here. Then you go, let's make 20% on this one too, because you look at the scroll bar, you can see how big it is compared to the other one. It's about the same size. Takes a few seconds. Now we're going to go into the media tab again, and we're going to select the big ones and let's delete them from the tree. Okay, this one is a big one, and we're going to delete it from the tree. And what's the other big one? This is a big one. Delete it from the tree. And then we're going to select the little ones that we just made, and we're going to link those to George. And there's another one that's already in the tree. We want to link it to George, link it. And that's all the bigger they need to be. That looks just fine. You can scroll them. I mean, if you want to look at the bottoms of his shoes, you can. All right. I could probably figure out a way to put acknowledgments, maybe draw a border on that. Let's open this up. I could crop it. This is not going to change the original. Put this on the graphics tab. Crop it first, see what happens. Okay, there's the whole thing. That's what exists. Now, I don't want to add text to that because it's already got text. I can draw it backwards. George L. Heaton Jr. I made me a crop rectangle, but I put it out here because I'm used to doing that in Jask Photo Paint. I don't really want to crop it right here, so let's change that. I don't really want to crop it at all, but I just want to see if it'll work. If I put my second point out here, it probably won't work. Maybe it did. Did I make a new copy? Yeah. All right, so we're going to put this photo, link to the current element. So you should be getting good at this by now. There's the more recent one. So let's get rid of this one. Get rid of it by going in here and grabbing the old one here. And then you have to do this. And then you say delete from tree. Alright, now he's only got one of those. I want to make a change to this. So George L. Heaton, look, he has no caption here. Instead of putting text on the picture, which we could do, let's make a caption. Because he has no caption right now. That's empty. And let's say photo, credit, Linda, Bukky. See what happened? Remember I made that little line, cropping line, come outside of the picture, and that's what happened. I added something I didn't want to. How's about if we go to George L. and Alice? There it is. George L. Heaton Senior and Alice by. I happen to know her name is Alice by. Right? And then we're going to link it to George and Alice. How big is it? You know how Windows is. You point at one, it's huge. Okay, we'll have to go through that same routine. See now, what you got to do is you got to add your pictures when you add your person, because you can resize at the same time. But this is kind of a funky routine. Put in the big one, change it. So we're going to link that to the current person. All right, and we're going to go to the current person, which is George L. Heaton. There's the too big picture. It's way too big, and we're going to put it on the graphics tab. Then we're going to resize it. We're going to resize it. How big is that? Let's make it 25%. New image name. It doesn't pan with the mouse. You have to scroll it. 50th anniversary. We resized it and automatically put the resized copy into the tree. That's the new one. We're going to link that to George L. Heaton Sr. And then we're going to change this to Alice by his wife. Make her the current person and go here. I'm going to add this picture, the small version. This is done. It's the main picture. It shows up on the button that opens the gallery. Now we'll go back to George L. and he's going to have two pictures, a big one and a little one. See? There's a little one. We're going to make that the main picture. Go over here. Look at all these. See, you can open more than one of these at a time. Keep forgetting to close them, I guess. George L. Heaton is now the current person. So what we want to do is find the one to delete. That's the big one. And we're going to delete that one from the tree. Okay, now there's only one. It's the small one because you can see it easy by panning just a little bit. See you soon.